So I really wanted to talk about this topic that is so important, honestly. It is whether or not you are actually living out your birth chart or if you're resisting it. I have my notes here because these are like patterns that I see constantly coming, like repeating themselves with my clients. And I think this is something that is so important because when you are not living in accordance to your birth chart, there is so much friction and just life just becomes a struggle, versus when you actually start, first of all, when you are aware about your birth chart, which is literally a map and an outline for you. It's the map, the outline of your soul, how your soul, what your soul chose for this current life, for this reincarnation that you living right now, and the goal and the map, the GPS pretty much of your soul. That I saw something there. The problem that most people have is that many people don't even, first of all, don't even know their chart. If that is you, we need to fix this today. Okay. I think this should be like a mandatory thing. I think every single person should have their birth chart. Okay. It's the thing is, don't take it as a personality label, because it's so easy to just like get carried over by things like zodiac sign and just using it as entertainment versus what I truly believe it was meant to be used for, the the user's manual of you, of your soul, and the purpose of your life, in this current reiteration. So the thing is, and then once you know your birth chart, there is knowing it and there is also living it. That is a whole different ball game, and that's why we're here. Like we and that's also why we do want to have that level of awareness, because awareness is everything, consciousness is everything. Like my teacher often says, often used to say, and everyone pretty much says that, all my mentors, consciousness is everything. Because if you don't have that first level, first degree, that first consciousness, you don't even stand a chance in making any changes. It's like the first step one. And once you know your placement, the thing is, the goal is not just for like intellectual, chasing, because I know a lot of us, we tend to be really hooked on self-help, and we want to know, and there's almost like, it's almost like that feel good thing, that feel good drug that's just like, it just makes you feel like, it gives you that cozy feeling, all right, you got a piece of information and you feel good, you high, and then you don't do anything about it. That is not the goal. Okay. So this is not the goal. The goal is so that we can start moving and flowing through life, so we can remove the resistance, so we can remove the confusion, so we can understand why do patterns keep on repeating themselves. And because they're literally like, once you start being aware, you'd see like the solution was right there all along, and you start understanding maybe it's because what you're trying to force into your life is just not aligned to who you are or who you meant to be, or your own design. Because a lot of time we do things because we were raised a certain way, or we see others doing them, when we have no business doing what other people are doing, because again, they're not you. It's like you trying to wear someone else's shoes when you don't even have the same shoe size. You know what I mean? So, and also one thing that there's so much, the reason why we want to make sure that we are aligned with the chart also is because we want to make sure that we're living in flow. We're not resisting it. Now, resisting can show up in different ways. It can show up as, like some people over identify with certain aspect of their chart. That's often the sun sign. Things like, oh well, I'm a Gemini, what do you want from me? I'm like this, there's nothing I can do, and they just like give up. Oh, what do you want me to do? I'm a Libra, I can't make up my mind, this is just how I'm wired. I'm a Taurus, I just love, extravaganza, I love my creatures of comfort, all of those big stereotypes that we're all aware of. Now, whereas I do believe that, there is like an energy to these things, like to each sign and each, but the goal, what I subscribe to is the goal of us raising awareness is so that we can rise above those limitations. It's not for you to just resign yourself and give up, throw the towel and be like, well, nothing I can do. I'm just a Gemini. Um, no, the idea is for you to become aware of it and just roll up your sleeves and get to work, get to do some, get to work, so you can step out of that limitation and improve. That's the goal of life, pretty much, right? It's a constant chase to improve ourselves and to reveal the next to like remove layers, shed skin, and to constantly reveal the next level of yourself, pretty much. And we also don't want to deny or dismiss hard placement, like my boy Chiron that gets such a bad rep. Saturn, Jupiter, well, mostly like Chiron and Saturn, I'd say, but like, or like squares, but I don't want to, we're not going to get into like technicalities today. But my what I want you to remember is that everything in your chart, even the quote unquote bad placements, that the people don't tend to like, they are all gems of information. They are literally where you should be focused on the most, because they are you where your biggest transformation can actually happen. They're literally cheat codes. It's like that special cheat codes that that's exactly where your attention needs to be. If you see a square, there's a square. That's where it needs to be. There's an opposition. This is literally like showing you, you know, like where you need to kind of like pay a little bit more attention. And another thing that I see is like people trying to be something that your chart never intended it to be. Now, again, I don't want you to see your chart as limitation, but it's like, what's the example I can think about? Let's say it's like someone who's allergic to something, but they insist on eating that exact thing. You know what I mean? At some point, we need to stop butting heads. Yes, the goal is for us not to let ourselves be limited and held back, by our chart. At the same time, we want to make sure that we're working with the elements in your chart. You're not working against it, right? What's the point of swimming against the current? You want to make sure that you're flowing with the water. So this is the idea. And then this is when my client starts embodying their chart, this is when the true magic really really starts happening, right? Because you might be asking, yeah, but Stephanie, what does it look like to live in accordance with my chart? This is honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, doesn't mean like life becomes like easy and it's just like perfection 24/7. Because hello, I don't even think we would want that, because life would be boring. I literally just recorded like an episode on that. You can check that out next. But the thing is, you start moving in sync with your own energetic makeup, so you feel comfortable, you feel like you have a sense of purpose, you feel very fulfilled. You start honoring your own emotional nature, your own strength, and you're aware of your the shadow sides, the weaknesses that require a bit more effort. That way you can show up in life with with purpose and a sense of direction. And then you stop fighting your challenges so much, because you understand that they are literally opportunities for you to grow all along. And you allow your chart to start being a permission slip for you to step into who you are fully, instead of being like, instead of like feeling shame because, oh, you wish you were so and so, why can't you be like that person, why can't you be this and that. And then you start really seeing, wait a minute, no one is perfect here. Everyone has their own strength and everyone has their own weaknesses, aka the points that require a bit more attention and more effort to overcome. So once you start understanding that, you start realizing that we're all beautiful in our own way, we're all perfectly imperfect in our own way. And my favorite is living in accordance to your chart starts feeling like coming home. Literally, it's like coming home when you like, like the saying, there is no place like home. Well, that's what it feels like. Again, it's not about being perfectly aligned all the time. It's about living in, in overall alignment. So you feel like you have clarity, you have self-trust, because you are walking the path that you meant to walk. You are honoring yourself. You know what I mean? And because your chart literally is so beautiful, it reflects who you are, the potentiality that you have, all the possibilities, if you only have the courage to step away from people's expectations, from early conditioning, and from shame, from fear. This is why I think the chart is absolutely beautiful. So like I said, it doesn't mean that life gets easy 24/7. It just means that you start living a life that feels purposeful, right? That feels very, very, very fulfilling. And also, like, everything, like relationship, career, creativity, like everything starts to shift. And that's when the magic happens, is when you start living in alignment. I truly do believe in that. And I actually see it all the time with my clients. So the core message I have here is that you're not meant to intellectualize your chart, right? You're supposed to really understand it, yes, of course, and step into it, fully embody it. It's like your permission slip that you can take space. It's really empowering, because it's that encouragement pushing you to live your truth, and realizing that every single person has their own truth. So you can stop comparing yourself and holding yourself in bondage, because you're comparing yourself to other people all the time, or you asking others what to do. How would people know what to do, because they're not you? So this is the power of this. When you stop resisting who you truly are, this is when the magic, it's like a beautiful flower that starts blossoming. Okay, so the birth chart can help you with so many things. It can help you really be in alignment, understand what your powers are, and other places that require a bit more attention, so you can overcome them. And really, it's when you just start feeling like you flowing through life without so much friction and feeling so drained all the time, because then you start moving with the current. So if you are ready to stop resisting, your who you truly are, and then you're ready to start living life in alignment, definitely you can book a session with me. I'll leave all the link down below where you could book your own birth chart reading. And we can also do some channeling also, which is like really talking to your soul and your higher self. Anyways, my loves, I will see you in the next one, and definitely do check out the next video of this playlist, and I will see you. Bye.